So, quick update on XRP. It's been a little while since we've covered this, but we have just broken through a very important macro pattern. So, let's talk about what's going on right now. If we come over to this chart over here, and if we clear up some of these horizontal rays and these Fibonacci's, you'll be able to see that we were trading in this huge triangle pattern for the longest period of time. And we have just taken out the floor. Now, up until now, we were making higher lows, but we were on the upside making lower highs. So we've been getting converged in this triangle pattern for a very long period of time. We put in our first touch points in this up on the 14th of April. We put more touch points in coming into May, and then we solidified the bottom of this pattern since June. So this has been going on for absolutely ages, 382 days, and the pattern was pretty much confirmed once we confirmed the bottom down here. So even if we were only talking about from when we confirmed this pattern on the bottom side of things, you know, you've got almost a year. This pattern has been been going on for well over than a year, and we've finally tanked through the bottom of this. So I really don't like what we're seeing right now with XRP. Let me get those trend lines back on the chart. And yeah, if we zoom in, we'll start off with our momentum indicators. You can see your daily EMA ribbons are pushing down very harshly. Now, we've had a slight bounce today. We're up about 3.5%. Not much volume coming in to support this bounce whatsoever, which is kind of worrying. You can also argue at this moment in time that this is a higher low to this. And yes, while that is true, you know, technically it is, we've fallen out of this structure nonetheless. And it's not exactly like you've got the most strong line of attack in this. You know, if it was a line of attack like this and we fell out of it temporarily, you know, maybe so be it. But, you know, this is pretty flat. And the price action has been very mundane on XRP. XRP has pretty much been one of the most underwhelming cryptos of this entire cycle. A lot of XRP fans, there's like a whole cult of them on YouTube, you know, talk about how bullish the structure is, but a lot of them fail to acknowledge that, you know, the previous all-time high was up here at $3.30. You know, everyone was talking about that $10, $100 XRP, and now we're back into the accumulation range down here at 60 cents. So it's really not a good look for XRP. You know, you can argue the inverse of what I just said as well, because from the bottom of things, you know, you've got these lows, and we're constantly, depending on where you're drawing them from, putting in higher lows. They're not always so perfect. For example, you had a higher low here, and then you actually took it out down here before building a higher low structure for the past 2 years or so. But yeah, as of the time of recording this, like I said, we are falling below this. We're having a slight dead cat bounce. Looking at our momentum indicators, the daily squeeze mom is very much in the favor of the bears. This is indicative that we are going to keep on rolling down. If we come over to the 4-hourly time frame, we're only just running back into your 4-hourly EMA ribbons. Now, sometimes when we do come into these 4-hourly EMA ribbons, we try and have a big push above them. I'd say the back test of the EMAs is the most important thing, not getting above these, because previously you can see, you know, we poked our head above these multiple times. It means absolutely nothing to poke your head above the top of the 4-hourly EMAs, but being able to successfully back test them and then have an impulse off them is probably what will define the end of the downtrend for XRP. And, you know, I say this in a lot of my videos, the trend is your friend until the end. If we're looking at the bearish momentum down here on the squeeze bomb, you can clearly see the bears are in control. You know, you don't need to be a genius to look at the EMA ribbons here and realize that, you know, your moving averages are converging very quickly to the downside. If we do continue with this pump, you can see we've got strong resistance at 61 cent and also 64 cent. In my opinion, we'd need to have a bounce. You'd need to see your EMA ribbons start to converge to the upside a bit, then you'd want to back test them and push up. That is the only time, you know, something like this, where you pump, you know, you back test and then you go off to the races, and then you see your EMA ribbons flip, and then you've got a bullish flip, and you know, you turn green and we can switch over the trend. So be it. We haven't seen anything like that for XRP right now. So I don't think it's the right time to be looking at the market to enter on XRP. I could be wrong, and this could be the exact bottom, but you know, I'm not trying to catch bottoms when I trade. I just try and capitalize and make sure that I'm getting in when we're having a macro market momentum shift. That's how I trade. I trade market momentum shifts, and as far as I can tell, if you're looking at this in the macro term, just based on this downtrend that we've got, look, you've got a plethora of highs. Every time you come up to these regions, it's a local high and we come back down. You zoom into what's going on recently. The last time I made a video, we were here on the 29th of March. A lot of people were getting excited over this EMA flip. You know, we came back down to back test it, tried to hold it, and completely failed. So as you can see here, we've got a plethora of lower highs in this structure as well. Drawing from what we did here as well, we've got a higher low. So, you know, you're not out of the blue until you start taking out these structures. I'd say, you know, like I said, flipping these EMA ribbons, if you're able to do that and then break out of this triangle structure, you know, you might be buying a breakout and a back test at 77 cent, but you're going to be doing a lot better than the people who've been DCAing into XRP every time it dips. Because if you've been DCAing the past couple of months, you know, you might have bought the exact bottom of this dip at 90 cent. You might have bought the exact bottom of this dip. Like, look at this huge dip. Even if you bought the exact bottom thinking, you know, now's the right time to DCA, that was at 65 cent. You know, we're now down here at 60 cents. So I always think it's best to try and capitalize off these macro market momentum swings. When you have macro market momentum swings, you know there's going to be a big rally incoming. For example, look, you've got a whole accumulation range for XRP within this range where it did absolutely nothing but trend sideways. As soon as you break to the upside of that, you know, whether you want to draw it like this, as soon as you break to the upside like of that, you can say, okay, you know, I didn't buy this exact bottom, but I missed out on all this bearish accumulation, or all this accumulation rather, not bearish. You know, I don't think accumulation's bearish. That was a slip. But nonetheless, you could say, you know, okay, I didn't buy at the exact bottom down here, but I'm able to look and see, you know, when the market's about to have a macro shift, and you can take advantage of these parabolic runs. At least that's how I trade most of the time. If I'm investing in a decent project like, you know, Bitcoin or something of the sort, then DCAing at lower price targets makes sense. But in my opinion, XRP is probably not one of those. So as always, you know, wrapping up the video, your oscillators are very oversold. That is the only thing XRP has going for it right now. But, you know, the trend is your friend until the end. I don't think I'm going to be trying to catch the falling knife on this. We are in a huge downtrend. Bitcoin is still in a downtrend. The stock market is looking very terrible right now. I talked about that in yesterday's total market overview. If you want to check that out and find out why the markets are doing so bad, then yeah, the video will be on my channel. So that's all I've got for XRP. Still in a downtrend, very slight bounce. If you did want to get out of this and be somewhat bullish in the short term, you know, if you're going to be a lot more degenerative than me, I would at least wait until you get above this trend line here at 63 cent. But me personally, I'd be looking to flip these EMA ribbons and get out of here. The longer you wait, the longer you sit on the sidelines, the lower these EMA ribbons will come. And just by waiting, like, look, I mean, you've seen these EMA ribbons since the last flip. They came down from $1. So is it the end of the world if you buy a breakout of 70 cent when, you know, this flipped bearish at $1.10? Absolutely not. It's almost a 50% discount, and that's on the basis that we're going to reverse now. If we don't reverse now and we reverse in a week or so's time, you know, you might be talking about buying the breakout of, you know, 60 or 65 cents. So you're always getting constantly cheaper prices when you sit on the sidelines and wait for these trend momentum shifts. That's all I've got for XRP. I'm definitely sitting on the sideline on this one. I don't like how this big macro market structure has broken. Also, the weekly close is coming, so if we close a weekly below 63 cent, then, you know, it's not going to necessarily look too good, because we're going to have broken below this on a weekly scale as well. And also bear in mind the weekly EMA ribbons have flipped bearish, so not a good sign for XRP whatsoever. That is all I've got for you today. As always, none of this is financial advice. It is just my opinion on the market. And yeah, cowboy out. Peace.